Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We are committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Alright then, let's head into today's conversation.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Money Convos. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week to listen, learn, and grow financially. And today we are diving into another interesting topic: how to treat your reputation or your personal image like your money. As you may be aware, here at Money Convos, we are always advocating for you to manage your money and finances with care and try your best to make the most out of it by saving or investing. And we found that the same analogy can be applied to any part of your life, including trying to build a good reputation for yourself. As you may be aware, your reputation is very valuable in today's world, and when you don't actively manage how people see you, it can lead to a lot of missed opportunities, and sometimes in your career and in your personal life. And it's not something you can fix overnight when it goes wrong. We often say first impressions last, and it's all linked to your reputation. And so we are going to delve into this topic today, and as always, I have Adam here with me to help me discuss it and go down into the problem and how to solve it if you haven't built a good reputation for yourself. Adam, are you with us? How are you doing?
Hello, David. I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm fantastic. Hope you had a nice day.
Yeah. It's been a bit packed. I've been driving home, but we are good.
Also. Please try for us. Okay, sir. Okay, let's dive into this conversation. So at the heart of this discussion is a problem, and it comes to the question that what happens when you neglect the value of your reputation or the value your personal image can bring to you. And we are comparing this to your money, because just like, for instance, with your money, if you ignore the level of debts you have, for instance, and you keep racking up debt, eventually it catches up to you. And you can compare this with your reputation, in that if you aren't proactive in creating a good image for yourself, in putting yourself out there, projecting the best version of yourself to other people, you risk others creating a perception of you based on partial information. Sometimes they may not have interacted with you so many times, so the little they see is what they'll use to judge you. And so if you're not fortunate, they can tell other people of the kind of person they think you are. And this becomes very important because we are living in a digital age, and especially with social media, where we think we can hide behind our tweets, behind our posts. One wrong move in a working system, one wrong move can spiral into something that you don't like in the future, because a serious employer can pull a post you made, a tweet you made out of 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and show you this is what you said. We don't accept this in this company, this and that and that. And it can permanently damage how you are seen. And so there are real issues when it comes to your reputation. It could, in terms of your career, you could be overlooked for promotions if your reputation is not good at the workplace. You could lose potential clients if you are not being recommended in the right rooms, or the recommendation being given to other people is not positive. In terms of life, you could end up being shut out of certain circles, certain networks that could have propelled you to better opportunities. And so it's very important that you make sure you are always in control of the narrative about your reputation. And whenever there's lack of clarity, people don't know who you are and what you stand for, the values you stand for, try to make the effort to make people know that this is who you are, this is what you stand for. If there's opportunity that you have to contribute to a topic, you make sure you are heard and people don't just make assumptions about you on face value based on how you look like, who you associate with, and something you said in passing. Adam, I don't know whether you have any thoughts on this, and whether you've experienced or seen a situation where someone's reputation held them back from an opportunity or their potential.
Yeah. As for reputation, it's a big thing, and there are some times where you will not be there when a decision is being made about you, or when some questions are being asked, or some sort of important decisions are being taken, and it's your reputation that will be in that room at that time when that decision is being made. So it's very, very important that we take our reputations very seriously, and all the things that affect it, we really put in the best. So we have to ensure that where we have the opportunity to control the narrative, we do, because reputation is what will be taking place or will be the one speaking when you are not there. Yeah, I hope you get me. So that's basically what I would want to say about that.
Fantastic point. And so it's your reputation that speaks for you in the rooms in which you are not. Let's explore a concept that might help us see our image or reputation differently. So imagine your reputation as your money. And as said time and time and over again on several episodes, the more you handle your money with and build on your money through saving and investing, you get returns on your money. You're able to use your money for useful things that will propel you to better places in your life. You get to retire, or you get to retire peacefully, as we often say. And this can be linked to your reputation in that every single positive interaction you have with people, if you interact with people and you leave a positive image of yourself with them, if every single engagement you have on social media forms part of a positive movement, something that contributes to the well-being of people, and if every interaction you have in the workplace forms part of how people see you, I mean, you always contribute to things at work. You show empathy to people who need it. When you see someone needs help, you help them. People know you as the person to come to when they need help. And if you are consistent and reliable and then add value at your workplace, in your relationships, in any institution you find yourself, in church, anywhere you associate with, your reputation then compounds like little interest. It compounds into a whole good investment, for lack of a better word, for you. Because the more you build little reputations in other small institutions, it compounds into a whole new person, that you become a whole new person, basically. And in contrast, just like with your money, if you make poor choices with your decisions in life and don't really put in the effort to build a good image for yourself, you see the negative impact over time. And the thing is, you wouldn't want to ignore your finances and expect them to grow, right? So why would you do that to your reputation and not work actively to improve it? Although you may say you are not doing any bad things, so your reputation is not bad. But do people know you to be good? That's also a question that you have to ask yourself. Adam, I don't know whether you have any thoughts on how we can link our reputation to our money. and how we can take care of it, just like our money.
Yeah, I think you mentioned things about the fact that making investment, we expect some form of a return, and then those things after a while they compound. Okay, so same with our reputation, as you were talking about the fact that if you might not be having a bad reputation, but do you have a good reputation? And that's a very, very important thing where it's like the way we leave our money, just like that. If you just leave it, it will not, it won't gain any value. It will not grow, it won't compound. Same way, our reputation, so if we do not invest in it, we do not project it out there, it will just be like money that's kept under the bed. It will just, the value will just remain the same. So we have to really pay attention to that. That is, go beyond ourselves, especially for those who are introverted. You know, you have to be seen. Those who like to be hiding, you have to come out of your shell. Take some steps, bold steps out there. Make sure that you volunteer here. You assist there. You make a recommendation there. Like, don't keep quiet. Like, share your ideas, improve, try to see how you can improve a system where you are or improve certain things where you are. And by so doing, you are actually making an investment in your reputation, because it is through that that people get to see and know who you are, and people are able to appreciate you for who you are. But if you sit behind and try to hide, as is the case with a lot of people, you know that you would not have that opportunity to demonstrate the good things that you have. So you need to demonstrate those good things, serving, volunteering, helping, giving a helping hand here and there. At work, going the extra mile. If you're on a team or something, like how you collaborate with other people to ensure that the task is executed or a project is closed successfully. All those things are very, very important. As you do that, it's like you are treating your reputation as the way you treat your money, or the way we are expected to treat your money, so that it will compound for you. So you have to be intentional. Same way we are intentional about our money, and we've been advocating that on this platform for the longest time. You have to also be intentional about your reputation. You have to be very, very detailed about it, like very, very, just like the way we would budget our money, how we spend, how we earn, and all that. You should also be intentional about your reputation. How will people view you? How will people assess what you do? And then that will help you in making your decisions taking actions that it will help you to sieve out actions that are not that will be inimical to your brand or to your reputation, and be able to decide that, okay, you rather focus on things that are intentional, that will help to build your brand or build your reputation. Yeah.
Awesome points there, then. So how people see you it's very important, and the more carefully you manage that, the more, and we'll come to the tips Eden mentioned in a bit, volunteering and all those things you can do to protect your reputation. And the benefit is, once you're able to be aware that your reputation can be built over time, it opens a plethora of opportunities. It could be a job offer. It could be other opportunities, even in your current workplace, that would propel you to other steps of your career. And sometimes these opportunities, ideally, you won't be exposed to them if you don't put yourself out there. And that brings us to the topic of self-advocacy. People sometimes shy away from sharing their successes, and it's not their fault of this, because there's a very thin line between advocating for yourself and bragging to say. But if the question is, if you don't tell your story, who will? And so you need to find a way. Sometimes you may have some achievements and all, but you may feel you talking about those achievements would be bragging. And sometimes we shy away from letting people know that we've done this or we've done that. And it's fine. What you have to notice, advocating for yourself doesn't mean you are boasting. It's about being visible enough and letting people see the value you bring, either to any institution you are in, your workplace, the family you are in church, or wherever you are. If you've done great work, make sure it's known and then you did it. And a reputation, and a good one at that, is built through recognition. It's built through people knowing that I did this, I did that, I did this. The next time they need someone to do a similar work, it's you they will count on. And that's how you move on in life. Adam, I don't know whether you have any thoughts on self-advocacy and how we can navigate the thin line between that and bragging, to say.
Yeah, so it's it's a very interesting thin line between self-advocacy and bragging, because especially for some of us, we see these things. We are especially if you are from a very conservative side, you would want to lay low on certain things, but you come to realize that self-advocacy is very, very important, because if you don't speak up for yourself, nobody will speak up for yourself. So you should speak up for yourself. But probably it's the manner in which you do that, so that you don't come off as being between at the end being boastful. So I think you should just approach it in a very, very, very nice and very intelligent way, where there's need for you to own up for what you have done. Obviously, take the credit for it, and for example, I find that thing a lot with Ghanaians when, a lot of us find ourselves in that situation where there is something and you are supposed to speak about, rather keep quiet. Once you keep quiet, you are either accepting that what is being said or the status quo is what pertains. But if you have a counter opinion, you should be able to voice it out so that people will see things from your perspectives. That's another way of standing up for yourself and bringing different perspectives to bear on a discussion. There you would be seen. It's not like sometimes people say that, if you talk, then you are too known. No, that's not what it is. It is about you voicing out your perspective, and from your side, the things that influence you are able to point it out for people to see it from your side. So it's very, very important that we put ourselves out there. So if there is a project and you are working on it, sometimes you want to be very magnanimous and say, as for this one, you want to make other people take the credit. Look, if it's a shared credit, share it. Let everybody know you are also part. It doesn't mean that you are being boastful. But what you should not do is try to take the credit rather than take the credit where the credit is not entirely yours. Where it's shared, share it with other people and let them know you are part of a team who executed a task or a project. And where you were not part to, be honest enough to say this person is the one who does. And that is also part of building your reputation as an honest and a truthful person, because what you didn't partake in, you were not part. You lay the credit to where it's due. That is one way of also projecting yourself as really a truthful person. You see, but if you try to appropriate things for yourself which are not yours, then you find yourself in a very bad situation where people will start to see you for what you are not. Yeah.
Excellent point there, Adam. And I really love the point on the being authentic, and we'll come to that in a bit. But just like Adam said, advocating for yourself, it's really important. And it's a bit easier nowadays because we have social media and online profiles, right? So where do you start from? LinkedIn, if you're a career person, is the first place you can start from. And sometimes it can get scary with people speaking about their achievements on LinkedIn. I did this, I did that, I did that. And sometimes you feel, oh, even the small achievement you are chalking up doesn't amount to anything. But the key here is such a platform can be a very powerful tool for you to showcase your skills and values. You could think of it as your homepage, your personal brand's homepage, because people should be able to get a sense of who you are just by looking at it. So don't view it as a place where people just go and boast and talk about things that sometimes may not be true. For you, you know what you want to achieve. You know where you want to get to. So try to put in a little effort to be seen with some of these, especially when they are becoming very important in recruitment and all of that. Try to put in a little effort to make sure you are seen physically and online. Make sure you build a presence for you where you are now in your workplace, in any institution you find yourself, and online, such that when anybody Googles you, your name will come up easily and they'll be able to know who you are and all of that. And that Eden mentioned, it's tough because you have, just like the LinkedIn point I mentioned, you have people always updating their profiles with their achievements, they are chalking. Sometimes you've never had any achievements, so you have nothing to write. You would think you have nothing to write, but your achievement is, you define what's your achievement, and in all of this, trying to advocate for yourself, trying to be authentic, building a good reputation for you can open doors for you. So you can't, for lack of a better word, bullshit your way out to better opportunities. Along the way, you will be caught. When you're authentic, you get to where you want to be faster. You get to where you want to be in the right way. When you project an image of who you are not, a fake image, you are not being true to who you are. And when people eventually see who you are underneath, sometimes you may lose that opportunity. You may gain the opportunity at first, but subsequently you may lose that opportunity. If people sense that you are being real with them, they are more likely to support and recommend you. And that's why sometimes some of these companies or recruiting agencies, they just don't do online interviews. For some, you do online interviews. They also meet you in person so that they see who you are, ask you questions about yourself to know that you are not just everything that you wrote on paper. You can speak to it. You are being authentic, and then all of that. Adam, do you have any thoughts on this? Or I don't know whether you have any experience of people not being authentic about who they are and how it has helped their personal image.
Yeah, I think a big risk, you mentioned that it's easier nowadays because we have social media and other platforms, online platforms, to be able to push our reputation and our brands out there. What comes to mind very, very easily is the concept of packaging, where we know that there's a lot of packaging out there, and that is a risk that we face in our time and in our generation, where you are projecting a reputation that does not match what the reality is, or where the basis or the foundation is not solid enough. Okay, so like you said, I would not be able to use your words that you use, but you cannot package your way through certain positions. You cannot package your way all the way to the top and expect the packaging to keep you there. Because if you are not authentic, like you said, sooner than later you'll be fished out, or you'll be found out for who you are. So it's very important that as you document or you try to project yourself out there, that you are as much as possible as realistic or as truthful or as authentic as you can be. So It's nothing spoils when you just document your small wins, they compound over time, so let's not just be in a hurry to paint a picture that is not real of ourselves. Else, when people actually weigh us for who we are, we will be found wanting. And you see, the worst part is where you have raised certain expectations so high and then you are found out to be mediocre. It's not a very nice place to be in. So you have to ensure that however you're putting yourself out there online, you are what you are. Okay, let's just be real and let's not just be in a hurry to paint a picture because we think that people would see us in a better light if we exaggerate our importance or exaggerate our reputation. And then as we go on and we publish ourselves, okay, out there, we should take a conscious effort to ensure that we are mastering and we are building ourselves up more and more so that whatever we are reflecting out there is what we are because we have developed the capacity, we have developed the skills, we have developed the know-how that matches what we are saying we are. Okay, so it's very, very important. And then the last thing, don't lie on your CVs. Because when you get the job, you'll be found out for who you are. Okay.
Awesome points there, Adam. So, most importantly, don't lie on your CV because that's a deadly blow. If you're found out, it's not a good sign at all, and it could hurt your recommendations going forward. And so, what happens if you haven't done the best job building a positive reputation for yourself? What if you haven't been putting yourself out there? Is it too late to reinvent yourself? Not at all. Reinventing your image, your reputation is possible at any stage. And just like adjusting your finances, your money to suit your circumstances now, just like finding out, oh, I've not been saving enough, I've not been investing enough. Now I'm putting in a lot of steps to save, to invest for the future. You can start small if you are ready to change. So each new step that you take towards building an image for yourself could compound into something meaningful in the future. It's basically an investment in yourself. And then we often say an investment in yourself pays the best dividends. And it doesn't need to be drastic. It's the little things, So let's say you are in a workplace. You are always quiet in meetings. Try contributing a thought or two each time. Maybe when you are called upon, you always say nothing more to add. Once in a while, try to have something more to add. A little, get noticed a bit. Get innovative, start sharing some creative ideas. And these small actions can shift how others perceive you over time. It will take some time because just like any long-term investment, it takes time for you to gain, but consistency is very key. So you have to be patient, you have to be intentional, you have to stay committed to the changes you are making, and often ask yourself, if you could change one thing about how people see you, what would it be? And what's one small action you can take today to start that change? Once you ask yourself these questions periodically, you're able to identify how you can improve on yourself, how you can make your personal image better, how you can put yourself out there more for people to see you, and opportunities will find you, And the other side of it is, okay, what if for me, I've been putting in the work, I have a pretty good reputation. People know me to be hardworking. People know my values and all of that. I've built a good online presence for myself. I'm not in places I shouldn't be. I don't say things I shouldn't say. How do I protect it? And the basic thing is to be mindful of character or behavior, both online and offline. It's very easy to sometimes comment on something online and think nobody has seen it. But because social media and digital items can be tracked easily, it could hurt your prospects in the future if you comment on something or say something you're not supposed to say. And just like managing your money, you wouldn't want to risk your savings or your investment on something reckless. So why would you put your personal image or your reputation on the line, So protecting it can mean sometimes avoiding some situations that can compromise your values and being selective on what you comment on in public. Sometimes even in your circle, there are some topics maybe you may be uncomfortable with. You have to be very selective on what you share publicly and privately, and make sure anytime you are sharing something, it's something that projects yourself positively. Adam, I don't know whether you have any other tips on how people can protect their reputation if they manage to build something good for themselves.
Yeah, I think we mentioned some very good points, but to add, especially for the online issues, like you said, they say the internet never forgets. So we should be very, very wary what we put out there as we engage, especially nowadays, because people want to monetize all their social media platforms. People go the extra mile to do things just so that they can generate traffic to whether it's a blog or to a profile or something. And that is something we should be careful about, because tomorrow it can come back and hunt you or bite you. So you should be very, very careful what you put out there online. And also, our reputations are very, very important. So if you are trying to guard your reputation, as you said, you should try to be someone who is a person of integrity as much as possible. And certain things look like they are, this is something small or it is not significant. But sometimes you should ask yourself that, what if this thing is broadcast online? Or what if this thing is broadcast at your church? Or what if this thing is broadcast at your workplace? How will people take it? How are they going to see it? I mean, if you can do that all the time as a check on yourself, so you know that if you're going to engage in anything, you are very careful, especially where you find yourself in a leadership position, or you find yourself that you build your reputation as a professional up to a certain level. You should be very careful with the actions you take, even in places that seem very unrelated. Even in a place which seems very, very, very unrelated, you might be surprised what it can cost you at your workplace or somewhere else. If you quite remember when this issue of I think is it a bank manager or something, and one lady who was supposedly, is it a side chick or something? I don't even want to even go into the merits of the issue, but you see how that matter degenerated and became whatever it was. That was something that was hurting of a reputation. Similarly, I think just yesterday or a few days ago, I saw some videos trending, I think from Nigeria or something, where somebody was, so whether it was assaulting or battering or something, the wife. These situations happened in places which was not their professional settings. You understand? But these actions they took elsewhere kind of affected their reputation. And I don't know about the second, but in the first instance, I think you can take an action, even if you are not wrong, even if it is not it is not an illegal action, or even if it is not an immoral action, or it can be a blurry line about the thing, and it can be in a different setting, but because you have built your reputation to a certain level, those things, when they are found out, can affect you greatly. So you should be very careful and wary what you do at every place. You can't say, maybe because oh, now this one we are at home. Oh, this one is only boys who are here. Oh, this one, no. The actions you take there, when they are moved into a certain place, people will be wondering, or people will judge you differently because of the reputation you have, and they would expect you to have exercised a better judgment. So it is the reason why, as you have built your reputation to a certain level, we guard it jealously by making sure that wherever we find ourselves and we are acting, we should think twice in whatever type of action, especially when it has to do with dealing with your emotions. You should be very, very careful about that. Yeah.
Great points there, Adam. And so, just like Adam said, having a well-rounded reputation, building your reputation to a level and guarding it well, protect you from a lot of setbacks in life. And you have to be very careful with that. You have to treat it with care. You have to nurture your reputation and let it be a true expression of who you are. Just like you treat your money, you need to treat your reputation just like that. Treat it with care and nurture it. And so, as we are wrapping up, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is there someone in your life, in your circle, someone outside of a circle that you admire? What qualities do they have that inspire you? And how can you incorporate those similar qualities in your life? Once you're able to identify someone like that, someone would say a role model, someone you think you admire, and you can reach out to them. If you can reach out to them, please do, if possible. Try to ask them questions about their journey in life and all of that. And you never know, those interactions with people you admire could reinvent your personal image. They could recommend you to other people. You could pick up a thing or two about their journeys and how they built a personal brand and image for themselves. And it could open a lot of doors for you as well. So try to do that. Try to do that exercise. Sometimes it's hard to do it on your own, but once you are in an institution, or sometimes your institution can't help you, but you have to make meaningful or take meaningful steps to reach out to people to help. It can help you on your journey to reinvent your image and sometimes keep the image you've built for yourself, So, Eneb, I don't know whether you have any final words for our audience on how to build an image for themselves, and for our audience who have built an image for themselves, how to keep treating it with care and nurturing it like their money.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned earlier, I think one key thing is that we should just be intentional about it. So just as we set goals for our money, we should also set goals for our reputation and how we are going to be intentional about taking steps that will help us to maintain or to build or to increase our reputation. The good, or to increase our good brand, out there. So it's important that we take little steps, as you said earlier. It's about little steps. It's not anything about being so fancy. It's just being intentional and being particular about what we do, how we do it, and where we are, being conscious of where we are and what we are contributing towards that place. Once that consciousness is there at your workplace, it will affect how you carry about yourself at the workplace, even in your neighborhood. It will affect how you carry yourself about and the type of things you do and what you engage in and how you treat other people. All those things will come into play in building a good reputation for you. So it's very important that when we move around, when we get to the point where we are supposed to, we've gotten to a higher point, okay, for those who have built and have a very good reputation about themselves, that they guard it jealously. It is even more important when you get to that stage to be more particular and to be more interested in how people see you. And then we should be also finally be more interested in the fact that our perception should be as close to reality as possible. and not just be something that is just out there. Yeah.
Thank you so much for an insightful discussion, Adam. And thank you, our listeners, for tuning in every single week to listen, learn, and grow. And here on Money Convos, we are always on the lookout for you to discuss pertinent topics that can make a difference in your financial life. However, if you want actionable tips, practical tips on how to control your finances, and someone to guide you on your journey, we have an investment friend for you. So before you do anything else, please hop on Instagram and search for investment_friend, and you won't be disappointed. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and we will bring you another insightful discussion next week. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.